My name is Sarah O. I am the digital content producer here at the University of the People. I help do things like this, live webinars, help manage the YouTube channel. We have some students who get to stream video games to the YouTube channel, so I also host those. And I host different program webinars to help people learn more about University of the People. And I am joined here with a business administration student at the university. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Hey, hello everyone. This is Mbatoday. I'm a two-time author. I'm a business administration student at the University of the People. I just recently completed my associate's degree, and I'm so excited about that. I'm working towards my bachelor's now, so I'm always happy to be hosting this webinar with Sarah, and let's go.
Yes, let's do it. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have fun and learn a lot of great tips that'll help all of you. If you're on a leave of absence or contemplating, potentially joining the university, you're going to learn a lot of great tips today on how to balance life and work. Just some, notes for today's webinar. This webinar is set up for one-way audio only, meaning that you will be able to hear me and Mbatoday, but we will not be able to hear you. You will not be able to come off of mute to speak to us. Please make sure that you're utilizing the chat. This is where you can talk to one another. Let us know where you're watching from. There's also a Q&A section. We do have some amazing admissions advisors on the call with us today. So if you do have any questions about your applications or any program specific questions, please use that Q&A box to ask them. I will not be able to answer you verbally because I want to make sure we get through all of the information on the slides, but our admissions advisors will be able to respond to you through the chat. So please make sure that you're using that throughout this webinar. So let's go ahead and begin with our very first thing, which is our agenda. We've already done our welcome, so welcome if you're just joining. We're going to go into goal setting, how to manage school and life balance, how to register for courses at UoPeople, UoPeople updates, and then we're going to close out with a brief discussion at the very end. So number one thing, goal setting. I know plenty of us have goals in this life. I hope that if you don't have any yet, go ahead and make some because that is the point of this webinar. So goal setting, there are short-term goals and long-term goals. And as you guys heard from Mbatoday earlier, he talked about how he just completed his associate's degree at the university, and now he's going for his longer-term goal, which is to achieve his bachelor's degree. Mbatoday, how do you actually, set goals when you are striving to complete your coursework or complete anything in life?
Well, I think, Sarah, goal setting is the foundation of anything you want to do. And for me, for example, these are the courses I need to take for my bachelor's degree.
That's a lot.
So they clearly outline, and the courses I'm currently taking, they're probably highlighted in yellow if you can see them. So It starts with being specific. What's the goal? You have to know what the goal is. Is the goal to complete the degree? Someone said you can have reasons or you can have excuses, but you can have both. So you have to be clear. Once you've got to be specific. What's the goal? Everyone on this call right now, you probably started with a big goal. Well, I want to complete my degree and something has happened. So let's get back to the goal. Once you get back to the goal, write down everything you need to complete that goal. What classes do you need to take? And then just begin to knock them out. Like, for example, I'm taking 3 classes now because I want to get the bachelor's done as soon as possible. So your goals have to be specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be attainable. So, for example, I never started with taking 3 classes. I only took 1 until I got comfortable taking 1. Then I moved to 2. I took 2 for a few terms. I got comfortable. This is the first time I'm taking 3 classes this term. But I did not start out taking 3. So it has to be attainable. Then it has to be relevant to the. If it's relevant, then you're going to do what's required. And then it has to be time-based. I want to get this thing done by next year. So I'm pushing myself. So what's the time that you want to get this degree done? Do you want to get it done in the next 6 years, or you want to get it done in the next 1? If you have your associates, you want to get it done in 2 years. That's what you're supposed to do. Or you want to get your bachelor's done in 4 years, but set a time, set your goals, and just begin working towards it every single day.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for, all that information, and then even showing us physically how you're setting up those SMART goals. It can be, the easy part about setting a goal is setting it, like saying what you want to do, saying that I want this. The hard part about goal setting is actually making sure that you know the steps that you're going to have to take in order to get to that goal. And that leads us to our next point, which is self-motivation and discipline. I personally am a procrastinator when it comes to certain things. I've been doing better, but I still have my moments where I kind of just slip and I kind of lose that motivation or lose that discipline that I had when learning or when working. And Batadem, you've just completed your associate's degree at UoPeople. How were you able to stay motivated and disciplined to complete your coursework in the last few years?
Well, motivation has to be intrinsic. Basically, it has to come from within. So I was clear about the desire. The desire was to get the goal. Then I had to have determination. Determination means it doesn't matter what happens. It's not going to be easy. Most people, I remember when we were on the call last time, somebody, I saw a student saying, well, I have this happening to me and this is happening. I have jobs, kids, everything. Life. Basically, I have life going on.
Right.
So, and it's like, we all have life going on. We all have challenges going on. So, but you have to be more than determined. I like what Les Brown says. He says, when life knocks you on the ground, make sure you land on your back. And if you can look up, you can get up because you things going. So for me, I had to be determined. And the last D for me, I had to be disciplined. I mean, sometimes I don't feel like reading, Sarah. I'd rather chill on the phone talking to someone or watching some nice movie on Netflix.
Right.
But to achieve that goal, I had to make myself disciplined. Like once I get off this call now, I have to go read. I don't want to do that sometimes. So the discipline is not something that's going to fall on you miraculously because maybe something happened. No, it's something you're going to make yourself say, well, I'm going to sit here and read. And so discipline, you have to have the discipline and don't expect it to come from external sources. It has to come from within you, from your motivation, from your desire, and from your determination to win at all costs.
Exactly. And that's awesome. And I like what you said about that Leslie Brown quote. If you fall on your back and you're looking up, you honestly can still get up. There are going to be things that happen, especially in life, especially in this world that we live in. The pandemic is still going on. People are still struggling financially as well. So we really want to make sure that you understand that this is a fully online experience. You're not going to have a campus to go to. You're not going to have a classroom to walk into to see your classmates. You're going to be sitting alone a lot of the time, doing work, reading, and pushing yourself to earn your degree. So it is something that you have to do, but also know that not only are you going to be your own motivator and your own timekeeper and disciplinarian, but you'll have a lot of other motivators around you. There are a lot of students at UoPeople who are pushing themselves to earn their degree. So don't feel like you're going to be pushing yourself alone. You'll have plenty of classmates who are going to be encouraging you, family members and friends who will be encouraging you as well throughout the duration of your education. And moving into that realm of things, school and life. Like Mbatadem said, life happens. Not only are you studying, but life is happening while you're doing so. And we know that the biggest thing about life that is hard for people to manage is time. Time is everything. Time is money. Time is memories. Time is work. Time is everything. So it's really important that you know how to stick to schedule, make those notes, and then allocate time for your coursework. And Batadem, how are you able to manage your time? Did you have a study schedule? Were there certain days that you did certain assignments? How did you best manage your time as a UoPeople student?
Well, Sarah, this term, I'm taking 3 classes. So at the beginning of the week, I set a clear goal intention. I'm going to make sure that I get this done, and then life happens.
Came to humble you, just said nope, do not plan accordingly.
So I have to keep coming back and getting clear about, okay, setting new intention. And this is why I want to encourage you. Listen, sometimes you're going to say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then things happen. Just, okay, take a few moments and center yourself and set a new intention. So for me, one of the things I do is, okay, once I already planned my day at the beginning. Once I woke up, I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do. So I have this webinar right now. And then as soon as I get off at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be reading till 12. Then I have to get ready for work because I have a training at work at 1 o'clock. So, so that 2 hours in between is important to me. So you always have to schedule your time. And sometimes things will happen. Like yesterday, I had a clear goal. I was going to do this, get a lot of stuff done, and I didn't get most of the stuff done, but I got some stuff done. So take the wins. When you win, whoo, pat yourself on the back. When you lose, don't beat yourself up. Just get up the next day and keep moving. At the end of the day, the goal is still the same. We're going to get our degree and we're going to pass our classes. So just keep moving towards the goal. When you fall, get up and keep moving.
Exactly. And a lot of times those losses will really show you how, how much you've grown, will test you and show you, will I be able to fix myself this week? Will I be able to recenter myself and schedule, a new time for me to study? It's really important to not get down on yourself. If you have a bad week of time management, it happens. If you have a bad day, it happens. It's life, just like school happens. So just make sure that when you fall short, maybe you procrastinated, or maybe you forgot to do an assignment or turned it in late, don't beat yourself up about it. You still have another week, you still have another course to take, and you still have time to improve along the way. And speaking of having time and space, making sure that you are in a comfortable space when you are doing anything. Right now, me and Mbatadem are in comfortable spaces talking to you all. It's super important to be in a comfortable space when you are studying. Do you have a favorite place that you enjoy studying at, or do you study at home more often? What's your favorite places to study?
I'm a homebody. I like to stay home. So most times where I sit right here and study, and then sometimes I get tired of sitting and I go sit on my bed. I find what's comfortable for me. So again, for every one of us, it's going to be different. The key is knowing yourself. I like what someone said: make a study of yourself. What works for you? Determine what works for you. One of my classes right now, we're taking emotional intelligence, and one of the things we're talking about is leaders are self-aware. And one of the ways you can become self-aware is to start journaling, start writing things down. And so I want you to get self-aware. What works for you when you're studying? Do you need, some people can't study in a quiet place. They want a background noise. Right. I can't do that.
No, I can't even focus.
So find out what works for you and then do more of what works for you and you get the results. But it's going to require you to take the time and the discipline to determine what works for you. So for me, I like a quiet place.
Yes,
I like a
definitely. I agree. And for those of you who might not have a comfortable study space, just try your best with finding one. It's really important whenever you are learning to be able to have that comfortable spot. Working strategically. So rather than procrastinating and, it's easy to, I've been in that position. There's a really good show. It's new on Netflix. I feel like binging it. I don't want to really get my work done for the day, especially because I work from home. I have my huskies. They're like over there trying to distract me. I have food. I have games. I have everything I need to distract myself. But I know I have to work strategically so that I can get a paycheck and I can feed my family and myself and I can actually continue to live here and work. How do you work strategically as a student in Mbatadem? I know a lot of people are used to studying, but studying strategically is the most important thing when you're trying to learn. How are you able to do that?
Well, for me, I think it's important when you say being strategic, because sometimes, like I'm taking 3 classes right now. Sometimes I'm studying a class and I'm just hitting a wall. And so instead of just taking time off and say, well, I'm just going to relax, because I don't have that time to goof off. It's 3 classes. There's a lot of reading involved. So I move to the next class. Okay, let me try and study this material. Sometimes now it's like, oh, wow, okay, it makes more sense. So I'm studying that material. As soon as I'm done, now take a break. I can go back to the first material for the other class. And it makes sense. So I like what it says. Rather than procrastinate, just shift your focus. You've got to learn to shift your focus, because, again, we have discussion assignments, we have written assignments, and we have learning journals. So these are 3 things you could be doing. If your discussion is not working, discussion assignment, maybe you can start working on a learning journal. Because even that win, that small win, can get you pumped up to do the next big assignment. So I want to encourage you, just keep shifting your focus until you get the work done. And then usually, like yesterday was, most of the work is done on Wednesday. When I was done, I was like, yes, it's done for this week.
You just have to feel that breath of fresh air and that weight of pressure kind of lifting off of you. And it is going to be a bit difficult because a lot of people aren't used to like the online learning structure at UoPeople. Week to week, you're learning something new. You have a new assignment to turn in. It's not fast paced to the extent that you're going to be overwhelmed, but it's fast paced to the extent that you don't want to forget to study or forget to turn in an assignment or forget to do your peer review, because then your grade is going to suffer at the end. And that's not what you want. So making sure that you have that plan, you know what you're going to have to do for each course, and you take time away if one course is really hard for you or one assignment is really hard for you. Managing your stress is really important. Yeah, go ahead and buy them.
Well, Sarah, I think also you said something that's very, very important. I like what it says. Whenever possible, working ahead is like buying extra time. Do not. I've done that a lot. Wait till the last moment. Sometimes some of the course materials will require you to read them maybe twice, or you have to maybe reference other stuff. If you wait till the last minute, now you are flustered, frustrated, and you're just like, right. I give up. So once you start at the beginning of the week, then you give yourself enough time. When you have those difficult situations, then you can go ask for help, reach out to your fellow classmates, reach out to your professor, go to the learning center and have someone, the learning center here, and have someone help you.
Exactly right. And, making sure you have that extra time, like you said, it's important because we're not always going to be our best every single day. We're just human. We're not robots. Even then, we all have computers and we've all had technical issues before. So there are going to be days where you're not at your best. So give yourself that grace and don't think that you're going to just become this superhero who's going to read 3 pages of reading the day before the assignment is due and do 4 peer reviews and then do your own assignment. And like you have 5 other things to do at home and you have like a child to take care of or work to go to. Make sure that you're managing your time because you don't want to be stressed out because you're just going to be in a very negative space and you want to think as positively as possible because once again, you are your own motivator and disciplinarian. So don't discourage yourself. And participation and review, like me and Mbatadem both said, it is important to review your notes to study. How have you enjoyed the peer-to-peer learning at UoPeople? I know a lot of people who are on this call are on a leave of absence and maybe haven't done a peer-to-peer review in a while. But since you're a business administration student, how have you been enjoying that part of the UoPeople learning experience?
Well, I mean, for me, I think I've come to love it because again, we all have a perspective, we have our viewpoints, we have the way we see things. So when I get to review my peers' work, I can see them answering the same question I answer from a different point of view. And it's so interesting. I was reading one yesterday and the lady was telling her story. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So peer review is important. I enjoy it. I love doing it. I love seeing what my peers are writing, how they're thinking, and I love it.
That's awesome. I'm really happy that you enjoy it. I know some students have a hard time with it because they're like, I don't want people to see my work or they didn't grade me well enough and things like that. But I do. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Sarah, I think with the grading, one of the things I've come to do is just detach yourself from, just get your emotions out of it. Somebody may decide to give you a low score. That's fine. Just read the feedback they gave you. Maybe they say, well, you didn't do your APA format properly. Take the learning, and then the next assignment, you can bounce back. One of the things I've learned is, okay, with all the peer reviews, at the end of the day, most of your score is going to be the 3 exams. So right. I stopped stressing out about peer review or how bad they graded me. Most times, the whole written assignment is 10%. So even if they gave you a low score on one, the other assignments will balance it out. But at the end of the day, majority of your grade is going to come from the 3 exams. So focus on those. Like someone said, don't sweat the small stuff. It's only small stuff.
Exactly right. So if anyone has had that experience and maybe was like, I'm just going to take a leave of absence because I'm having a hard time with the peer review, just know that even if you get scored low on all your peer reviews, you can still pass that class with a decent grade. Your professors are also, or your course facilitators are also going to be reading your work. They're not just going to let your, classmates read it and then not look at it themselves. They'll also give you a grade based on their own opinion. So don't let those low scores, if you ever get any, discourage you, because participation is part of being a UoPeople student, even if we're an online university. And it's really important that you can get that other perspective. Like Mbassadam said, if he didn't have to read his classmates' materials, he would have probably never understood that side of the question or that side of the experience that his classmate was having. So it's really important to just build empathy and build understanding of different cultures and people while you're here at University of the People. And speaking of peer review and being involved and working with one another, 98% of our enrolled students work while attending school, whether that's working full-time or working part-time. And you will need to lean on your course mates to succeed here at the university. What ways have you been able to connect with your course mates, whether that's for like studying or reminders for the assignments? What ways do you and your classmates help one another?
In my business and society class, and what I'm taking right now, one of the students set up a WhatsApp group and he said, hey, we have a WhatsApp group. If you want to join so we can study for the exam, hey, here's the link. My other class, my emotional intelligence class, one of my classmates, course mates, she was in one of my previous class. She saw I was in this class, so she reached out to me just actually 2 weeks ago. She had a challenge with one of the assignments. She's like, hey, Mbassadam, did you get that stuff? What does it mean?
Yes,
I love that. Give me a second, let me read it. And once I read it, I said, this is what it means. And she said, oh, thank you very much. Boom. So you've got to lean on the help of others. Listen, by yourself is hard, but with a group of people, with a team, you can win at any day. So learn to use the resources. Reach out to your peers. My professor I finished my graded exam yesterday. She emailed me, hey, congratulations, good job on your exam. Reach out to your professors. They're here to help you. So listen, I grew up in Nigeria and we don't ask for help. We have to figure this thing out by ourselves. And I did that for a long time. That was my downfall. So now I just learned to swallow my pride and say, hey, listen, I need help for my peers. I ask my professor. And then the Learning Resource Center is there. And also your program advisors, they are wonderful, wonderful resources.
Yes, that's awesome. And I'm really happy that you said that, your program advisors, we have a few advisors with us on the call who've been answering you guys' questions. It's really important to rely on your classmates, on the people around you, because even though we are online and you are going to be working independently, you still will be able to grow more when working with other people. And quick recall, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys talk in the chat a little bit. What's one tip that you've heard us mention so far that you are going to try using in the chat? We talked about time management. We talked about being strategic when studying. We talked about reaching out and asking for help. What things are you all going to be doing moving forward? I see we had some people talking in the chat saying that the most painful rating they received was a 1 out of 10. That's cold. It's really cold. I'm hoping that, that wasn't a consistent thing. I hope that was like a one-time thing. But for those of you who have already been with us this whole time and was able to see some of the tips that we shared earlier, what tips are you going to try using to help yourself balance your work and life a little bit better? Time management and reaching out to others, asking for help. That's awesome. Reaching out and asking for help whenever possible. Yes, definitely making sure that you're talking to people, letting your program advisors know when you're struggling and if you need any type of help. Someone else said, try to stop procrastinating. Definitely, I'm going to try to do that too. Time management, reaching out to peers, being more motivated and disciplined, asking for help. Definitely. Thank you all so much to those of you who have been responding in the chat. Someone else says starting their assignments early at the beginning of the week. Definitely asking for help and time management. I see a lot of us are going to be working on our time management. Someone else said setting a goal and laying out a schedule, staying focused on that goal. Most of our goals here are to earn our degree from University of the People. So just remember that when things get tough, buying that extra time and working strategically, that's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next section, which is how to register. So if you've never registered for courses at University of the People before, or if you have registered and you're wondering how can you register now, I'm going to go ahead and show this brief video on how you can register for your courses at UoPeople.
Hi, today we'll go over how to register for courses in the student portal. So let's get started. To register, you'll first log in to the UoPeople portal. On the left-hand menu, click on My Courses and select Register for Courses. At the top of your screen, you'll see a collection of courses available based on your desired degree program and the courses you've taken so far. These are selected for you to make sure you stay on track for graduation. In each box, you'll see the name of the course, the number of credits, and whether it is required or an elective. To register, just click the button in the upper left side of the box. Then click Next. If you want to see all the courses that are available, click Show All Courses. This will only display courses you are eligible to take, and those which haven't already been filled. For example, if a course requires a prerequisite you haven't completed, it won't show up here. Once you've selected the course you want to take next term, click Next. Then you can review your selection. Click on Confirm Registration to submit your registration request. Once your request has been processed, you'll be able to see your registration results here. And that's it! You're done! If you need to register for more courses, you can select Add Another Course. Or, if you're finished registering for courses, you can click on My Courses and select Manage Courses to see the status of your registration. Seats can fill fast, so be sure to register early. Best of luck in your studies next term.
So that was just how you can register for your course terms at UoPeople. That video is on our YouTube channel. So if you are not subscribed to us on YouTube already, make sure to go over there so that you can watch that video. It is also titled How to Register for Courses at UoPeople. So all you have to do is select that or type it into the search box and you will be able to find it. There are also, excuse me, for those of you who might be on a leave of absence, these are just some things that you can take care of so that you can rejoin the university. You would take those steps that were shown in the video and you will be able to sign up via the portal. The portal has changed a little bit since some of you have been enrolled. So if any of you run into any issues with registering, please make sure that you reach out to your program advisor that you've been assigned. They will be able to give you step-by-step instructions or help you reset your account in case there were any issues on the back end. Once again, the video that we used was on YouTube. I'm also going to go ahead and drop the link for anyone who needs it inside of the chat. So I just went ahead and dropped the link and I will pin it if I can. I don't think I can pin it, but it is at the very top of the chat. So if any of you run into any issues with registration or you're trying to register for your course and something ends up happening, just go ahead and click that link, save it on your phone, save it on your computer, and you'll be able to get the extra help that you need. The registration deadline is approaching, so please make sure that you sign up for your courses as quickly as you can. We want to make sure that you can reserve your spot before the next term starts. Our next term will be starting in June. So if you have not registered for courses already, please make sure that you register sometime this month or sometime in May so that you're prepared with the rest of our students for the upcoming registration deadline. And that's all that we have for today. I know there are some people in the chat who are asking questions to our amazing admissions advisors. If you guys have any questions about how to manage time or how to balance work-life study, please feel free to ask them. Me and Mbatadam will take about 3 to 4 questions before we finish off for today's webinar. Once again, if you did not hear me earlier, you are free. This is going to be our quick Q&A section for the work-life balance questions. So if you have any questions about how to time manage, or if you have any questions for Mbatadam that are specific to the business administration program, or about which courses he enjoyed taking as a business administration student, feel free to ask them in the chat. I will be closing this out in a few minutes if we don't get any questions. Thank you all so much for saying thank you. And also thank you so much for joining us for this webinar today. We really appreciate all of you who joined. All right, let's see. All right, I don't see any questions coming in. Thank you all so much for joining us. And Mbatadam, before we head off for today, is there anything that you want to say to your soon to be again UoPeople fellow students?
Well, I would like to say, I'll call it the 3 M's. The 3 M's, I'll end with the 3 M's. The first is mindset. Every day work on your mindset. How do you work on your mindset? Just visualize yourself. Close your eyes, visualize yourself getting that degree. How would you feel? What would this degree do for you? Visualize it, feel it. And the second M is momentum. Every day, keep making movements in the direction of your dreams. Listen, it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but if you keep matching, keep moving in that direction. I remember when I was getting my associate's degree, I was like, yeah, finally, it happened, it worked.
Yes.
But I just kept taking the classes, just keep making movements, momentum. You've got to. John Maxwell says the big mo. He calls it the big momentum. Just keep making movements in the direction of your dream. And then the last M is management, life and time management. Listen. You've got to learn to manage your time if you want to get your degree, if you want to be successful in your classes. Someone said, I just read a comment. The person says, well, you try to start working and before you know it's the end of the week and you didn't get your stuff done. Yeah, that's what happened because life happens to every one of us. So learn to balance your time, manage your time. Sometimes you got to turn off your phone. Just don't talk to people until you get your work done. So the 3 M's again, the first one is mindset. Work on your mind every day. How do you work on your mind? Visualize what you want. And then speak positive words to yourself. Most of us, we tell people, well, I'm not good at this. I'm not good. I'm a failure. No, don't say that to yourself. Always speak positive words. I'm going to graduate. I'm a graduate of the University of the People. I do well in my classes. The second M is momentum. Every day, make movements towards your goal. And the last M is management. Learn to manage your time and your life so you can get this degree. Thank you, Sarah. I think you're muted.
Thank you so much for letting me know. And thank you so much, Mbatadam, for all of the great words of advice that you just gave. I do see we did have a couple questions come in, like after you were saying things. I think maybe you motivated everyone to feel comfortable to ask. I see a question from a BA student. They said 3 courses is a lot. Congratulations for being able to do this. Curious to know if you work while doing these courses, and if so, how do you manage a work schedule, university studies, and personal life?
Oh, yeah, I work, man. Jesus. Once I get up here, I got 2 hours to read, then I have to be at work. So sometimes I'm at work and I'm trying to get my Wednesdays are the most stressful times for me. So again, it's not something, I'm not here saying something that I don't struggle with. I struggle with procrastination sometimes. I remember last week I was going to get my stuff done on my days off and I end up talking to someone for so many hours and I'm like, Jesus, my time is gone now. I'm panicking and all that. So it's a struggle every week. But what I do is it doesn't matter how bad last week was. Next week, I'm going to set a new intention and I'm going to show up with everything I've got. Yeah, you're going to have days, weeks you fail, but that's fine. You're going to have weeks. Someone was talking about, well, I did my work. I just saw someone's comment down and said, I did all my work. And after writing 4 pages, I got 40%. Don't get discouraged. Reach out to your professor. Sarah, you already talked about that earlier. Your professor will actually read the work again and reassign you a new grade. So don't get stressed out over those things. Don't let anything stop you from getting to the goal. Remember, the goal is to get the degree. Everything else is distractions. Remove the distractions and keep going for the goal.
Yes, definitely. I love that. And if anyone else, has any lingering questions, please feel free to reach out to admissions@uopeople.edu. If we were not able to get to your admission specific questions, I think Mbatadam gave a lot of great advice just then about managing his time. I think I'll take one last question because this is a really good one. And this is another question for you, Mbatadam. What advice do you have to avoid burnout being a student and working full time?
The advice is simple. Again, what do you have some self-care practice? What do you do for self-care? Sometimes with all the stress of work and the stress of life and having a family, it's frustrating, it's overwhelming. So one of the things I do, like I just go to the gym and try and maybe run on the treadmill. Or if I can't run, just walk on the treadmill. Do something.
Right. Do something. Do something other than work. Than work.
Do something else. Like you could go out and go to a nice restaurant and eat. Just find something to do to recharge yourself. A big thing I also do, like before I even got on the call today, I sat down and just closed my eyes and just visualize. Because when you visualize, when you see a picture of the outcome. The mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So once you sit down every day and you just visualize, it actually changes your mood. And then the next one of the other things I do is I set a new, I already mentioned that before, I set a new intention. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Today's a new day to be my best. When I go to work, I'm like, I'm here. It's the day to be the best I can be. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday. So to avoid that burnout, set a new intention, have a self-care practice. And the last thing is talk to yourself. Self-talk. I like what someone says. It's every day. Say something positive to yourself. Look in the mirror and say, hey, Martin, you're the best. Embody them, you're the greatest. Because whatever you say to yourself, anything you say after I am, becomes a law to the subconscious mind. Your mind begins to believe it, and after a while, you're going to act that way. So speak to yourself.
Yes, definitely. And thank you so much for all those great tips and advice. I think that hearing it directly from a student like Mbata, who's not only written 2 whole books and done a lot of great things in his personal life, but you can see that it is possible. He's taking 3 courses, he's working, he's doing all these other things while he is a student at the University of the People. So don't feel discouraged. Don't feel like you won't be able to do it. Just start off with 1. You only need 1 course. Take it a course at a time. Take it 2 courses at a time, but just try. Because like we said at the beginning, all of us have a common goal here of achieving our degree. That is our long-term goal. Now we know about SMART goals, how to take those small steps, how to be our own motivator and our own disciplinarian to make sure we get those things done. And we have a lot of advice from Mbata on how you can actually manage your time and keep yourself motivated as a UoPeople student. So don't forget to make sure to register. The deadline is approaching. Our final term will start in June of 2022 this year. So please make sure that you are registering for your courses. I did drop the link earlier. If you did not see it, I will drop it again in the chat before we end out for today. But this is the link for anyone who is interested on how to register for their courses. Please use that link and use the registration code that's in the description box to go ahead and register for your courses through the UoPeople portal. Thank you again, Mbata, so much for co-hosting with me today. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
No problem. And I hope all of you have a wonderful day or night, no matter where you might be joining us from. We will see you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.